afternoon. Everybody must be getting fairly hungry by now. I'm Marty Williams from the library. Gwen and I have got a short amount of time, so this is like the commercial break sponsored by the library. We've got two products that we've recently brought into the library to help the students with their learning. I mean, the goal, I recently read a paper from a survey that was done at 5 libraries, campus libraries in Illinois. And as some of the results, the general perception of many faculty of libraries was they were a purchasing agency. And the sort of perceptions that students had of librarians were that they were glorified ushers, pointing to where to find the books on the shelves. Now that hurts a little bit, but in a way it's true, because what libraries do is identify material resources and we purchase them, and we also show students how to use them. And all of what Professor Bottle talked about this morning about helping students to become more independent, it's what we now call information literacy. We've also called it lifelong learning, and libraries are now a part of the research skills development process. So that's sort of the overview, the introduction, but what we're really going to do is show 2 products, LibGuides and eBrary, that we've recently purchased at the University Library here to help students with their research process. This is what we do. We help them to work their way through their research process. So all we need is the internet. LibGuides. Now, one of the tools that we've used in libraries in the past, it's very traditional, is pathfinders or subject guides, which are basically just a written guide to resources on a particular subject that libraries offer to the students. At USP Library, that's been offered for many years. They tended to have been static in Word or PDF format, and really in light of the technologies that students are using these days, they're quite boring. They're also difficult to maintain, and in many cases weren't maintained. A lot of ours that I looked at last year were last updated in something like 2006. For instance, that was the biology subject heading. So as part of the library website review, we did a bit of research as to what was happening in this area in other academic libraries, and discovered there's a product, off-the-shelf content management system product called LibGuides. It's currently being used by about 3,500 libraries around the world. And so we had investigated that one and thought, yes, this looks like it's going to do the job for us. So it's accessible through, this is the library page. There's a link down the bottom here directly through to it, or the side here under subject. I'll just put my glasses on. Now, LibGuides is, as I said, it's an off-the-shelf content management system that's specifically geared or constructed for libraries. This means it has easy to plug in Web 2 functionality, so we can incorporate things like wikis, RSS feeds, widgets, so things like search boxes and chats, social networking integration. It actually integrates with Facebook and Twitter quite easily, so you can identify your subject librarian and talk to them through their email, Twitter or Facebook. It incorporates feedback polls, feedbacks like polls and surveys, and suggested content. So one thing we can do with these guides is actually put them out there, and students or faculty can say, well, there's some good websites, but I know some other resources that are worth putting up there. So one of the key vehicles of this, or one of the key uses, is as a vehicle for collaboration between library and faculty to start working together on these guidelines, on these pathfinders, so that we can put content on a particular subject in one portal, and students can go to that portal. The other beauty of it is, of course, as a content management system, you don't need any HTML skills, so anybody can update it. Any of our liaison librarians can update it. The formatting's flexible. Any generic content within one guide can be duplicated across all guides, and as part of the development we identified some generic information literacy content like citing guides, the research process, and duplicated that across the guides. And the other bit, talking about OER, it's actually that those 3,500 libraries that subscribe to LibGuides all talk to each other. So we can put out there and say, has anybody else discovered any good guides in marine biology, for example, and we can talk to libraries around the world and collaborate in that field. So that's basically what it is, and this is what it looks like. You can see we've designed it to be fairly seamless with the USP branding. It's housed off our site, but it's the banner and everything is incorporated in keeping with the branding. And I'm just going to show you very quickly, because I'll give time for Gwen to talk about eBrewery. But once the guide is produced, what the process was, we developed a template, looked at the colour, the layout, the look and feel, the sort of content, and then we developed 45 bare bones guides based on the subject areas that our liaison librarians work in. And then we ran all of those liaison librarians through a half-day training on authoring these guides, and we're currently under construction. There are about, of those 45 guides, about 15 have been produced, but they're churning them out daily. And that will be our basic suite. The goal is to have guides in any subject that even the faculty might identify that it'd be worth having another subject guide. I know our law librarian has just produced a guide on law, but she's looking at doing several guides on different aspects of law. So this is the front page. As the guides are published, they're listed on this page, and the subject is also put up there. So if we click on biology, for example, there will be two guides that have the subject that we've designated as biology. One is biology, the other one marine studies. We'll go into marine studies, and I'll just show you this one guide. They're all, as I said, we worked on a template, so they all have the same look and feel. They're not too content heavy, but this is what the front page looks like. So we can put up recent screenshots and descriptions of books within that subject. There's a bit of a bio on that liaison librarian on the side to contact them. We have a tab on getting started. This is a generic tab which talks about the research process, so it helps students to work their way through that process. Reference books on this subject. I'm just quickly going through this to give you an idea. Again, cover shots on any recent reference books relating to that particular subject, and some links on the side to some online reference materials. Finding books, there's again some information about the books that are particularly relevant to marine science in this instance, but we also, under information literacy, have another tab underneath which talks about how we organise our books in the library, and it gives a bit of a description of the Library Congress subject headings, how to read a spine label on our books, and so on. I won't go through it all. Websites. The other thing that we determined was for every guide we would have a tab like this one for Pacific materials. So we are the Pacific Library, so we thought it would be good for all of our subjects to have a direct link through to Pacific content. So this is the marine sciences one, key databases and some useful websites. So that's probably given you a bit of an overview. As I said, it's an introduction, it's a short ad for these products, but this is giving you an overview of LibGuides. What I'd suggest is it's easily accessible from the library part of the web page, so have a look at it, and if you're in faculty, have a talk to you, and you know some good resources that are worth putting up there, have a talk to your liaison librarian, and we can incorporate those into the guides. So thank you. I'll hand it over to Gwen.
Thanks, Marty, for that. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, we're back to the library. From the library homepage, what I want to show you today is eBrewery. So from the databases section under e-resources, we'll scroll down to eBrewery. Okay, eBrewery is actually an online digital library of full-text scholarly e-books. It contains a rich collection of books as well as those that have illustrations where available. It's been acquired by ProQuest since 2011, with the USP Library having subscribed access from July 2012 after a very positive trial period. So here from the launch pad, you have different areas. This is actually where you find out which subject disciplines. So if you can either click on the boxes or click on the down arrow button beside browse by topic. There's also instructions about getting started. And you would notice at the top you have the simple search screen. I'll just do a quick one on good governance. making sure that there's correct spelling. And I'm going to put the search phrase in double quotation marks, just to tell eBury that I want it in a phrase search. You'd find that at the top, while we wait for the page to refresh, that you've got different tabs. Currently, we're on the Information tab, and now we're in the Search tab. It'll be with a background, a gray background. You'd notice that you can sort your results according to relevance, title, etc. And you can also narrow down your search at this point. For example, I'd want to narrow down this search since I've got just under 4,000 documents. It's quite a lot to read. I want developing countries and economic development. I'll change the radio button to all and then click search. You'd have title results here. You also have chapter results. The chapter results is where you'll have the 20 most relevant chapters from your total results. For here we have 63 documents, so if I clicked on chapter results, it would find the most relevant chapters, the 20 highest ranked most relevant chapters. If I want to choose the order, not according to relevance, which is at the moment, but to title, so according to alphabetical order, can do that. And also with getting the full text from the book, you can either click on the title or the cover image or the table of contents. If I click on the title, the good thing about eBury is you don't need a separate program to launch from. It opens up in your browser. Okay, so you have your table of contents on your right-hand side. At the bottom, you have the bibliographic information if you wish to quote from the book. And the good thing too about eBury is you can highlight, and you'd see it towards the top. You can choose to highlight it in a different color or even add notes. You can also move between pages, maximize, as well as choose a particular page. There's also, the good thing about eBury is your own personal bookshelf. You can actually save it onto your bookshelf, and then you can access it whenever you sign in. So that brings, so now you have seen numerous features of eBury as well as LibGuides in finding and utilizing information. Before I hand over, just like to draw your attention at the end of this VC's forum, there's also the author's cocktail this evening. Thank you very much.